What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dominic and I am currently a doctoral student at Baylor University in their online learning and organizational change program. If you're clicking on this video, I am sure it's safe to assume that you're either thinking about applying or you're probably going to apply in the future to this program. So the intent of this video is to provide insight for those that are interested and kind of give you a semester by semester play by play on things that I've learned that have helped make me successful. And in addition to that, kind of alleviate some of the stresses or anxiety that you may have not knowing what to expect within the program. This is ideally the video that I was looking for when I was applying to the program, and I wanted more insight on what can I be expecting as I go through this. So this is going to be a series, so every semester for those 9 semesters that I'm in the program, I will be producing one of these videos to kind of break down what are my key takeaways. In addition to that, I want to make sure that these videos are straight and to the point and I give you as much information in as short amount of time. So with that being said, my program started back in September of 2021. That's when I started applying for the program. By the middle of October of 2021, I had already been notified that I was accepted, and November and December was really more of a focus on onboarding into that first semester. How to go and register for classes, what was the learning management system you're going to be using, and really just answering any questions that we had prior to starting that first trimester. If you're not familiar with how the Baylor program works, I highly recommend that you click somewhere right here. I'm going to go ahead and insert into the cards. I do have another video where I break down the whole Baylor program, the cost, all of that stuff in a separate video. So semester 1, your first 2 classes that you're going to be starting with is Social Foundations in Education and Issues in Diversity. When I first looked at those classes, it's like, it's not something that really sounded super interesting to me. The rest of the semester is like, oh man, okay, I'm really interested. This looks like information that I'm gonna love. I went into the semester though with an open mind, trying to figure out, okay, what do these classes have to offer? And I'm glad I did, because ultimately these 2 classes taught me a considerable amount of things in education and diversity that I was not familiar with. I truly enjoyed that first semester. Not only that, but the faculty themselves make the classes really enjoyable. They're very interactive, and ultimately they were a great introduction into the program. One of the key takeaways from this first semester is you're gonna spend a lot of time learning how to use their learning management system. If you're not familiar, it is called 2BU, and that's essentially where you're gonna perform all your asynchronous work. That is the work performed outside of class. It is your lectures, it is any of your discussion posts. It's also where you're gonna upload any major projects. So it's just kind of playing around with the system, figuring things out, and trying to get familiar with it, so that way when a deadline comes up for a specific assignment, you're not struggling and waiting till last minute to upload or you get stuck. Now, I will say that Baylor is great in the sense that you can actually reach out to Baylor, the IT department, and they will walk you through processes on how to complete some of those tasks if you're unfamiliar. In addition to that, you're also going to have to figure out how to work the asynchronous work into your schedule. Most of us have full-time jobs, and you have to really kind of balance work, life, family, your own personal health, and make sure that you have a schedule that you're going to adhere to. And that first semester is really a bit of a shock because you're not sure how much work to expect. Now, I will say it is quite a bit of reading and writing, so you do want to set as much time as possible. If anything, overestimate the time it's going to take for you to complete assignments. You'll thank me later. You might have to sacrifice some things that maybe you normally do, a little bit of that Netflix time. That first semester is really going to be devoted to honing in what you're going to be doing throughout this program and how you're going to do your work. I highly recommend distributed practice. What that is you're going to be doing a little bit of work day by day. So don't try to do it all at once. It can be very burdensome and it can cause a lot of stress. I've been there. I've done that for a few too many assignments. But as you start to get through the program, you're going to get into a groove. You start doing projects a little bit in advance, day by day rather than all at once, and it's much easier to manage. You're far less stressed. In addition to that, you're also going to want to make sure that you get familiar with uploading assignments, making sure that it's the right version of the assignment. We do use Turnitin as a way to manage plagiarism within the program. Ensure that you're citing everything correctly. The next tip is get familiar with APA style. At the time of this recording, APA's update 7 or edition 7 is what we're using, and you want to get familiar with how to cite things correctly in APA. The faster you learn that, or the faster you learn a program like Zotero, which is a reference management system that you can actually download to your computer, it is going to save you tons of time. Not only that, I will probably make a video about how to use Zotero in the future, so that way, hopefully, if you join this program or any other graduate program, you'll be able to manage all of your references and cite and reference all of those things correctly and easily. The next thing that you're going to be doing is really connecting with your cohort, getting to know all the people that are coming from all walks of life. You're going to have people that are heads of companies. You're going to have people in education. You're going to have people from military backgrounds, you name it. It is truly a melting pot. And that's one of the things I love about the program. You get to meet such a vast variety of individuals that are not just from the field of education. They come from all over, and that is the intent of the program. You can essentially use it with whether you're in education, K through 12, you can use it in higher ed, or you can use it in corporate America, being in the private sector, and it's a very versatile degree. So the next tips I have to share with you are going to ensure that you and your cohort are as successful as possible. 1, make a group chat for you and your cohort. Whether you do it by class or as an entire cohort, make a group chat so all of you can connect with one another and ask each other questions as you're going throughout the course. There is strength in numbers, and not only that, but it's nice to know that there's other people that are going through the same experiences with you, and you can joke around with them about some of the stresses that kind of rise and lighten that mood that you might be having. If you're going through this program alone, it might be a little bit more stressful than it needs to be, so I highly recommend connecting with your fellow peers that are in the program. The next one is make sure you're asking questions. All of the professors are extremely welcoming, and if anything, they want you to reach out to them and ask them questions about the assignments, get feedback on what it is that you're doing, and ensuring you're going down the right path for specific projects, especially those major ones, because at the end of the day, they want you to be successful. And if it means giving up a little bit of their time to help mentor you through that assignment, they're more than welcome to do it. So I highly recommend, don't be afraid to ask questions, whether it's in the entire class during online live session, or it's outside during office hours that are typically virtual in nature. The next one is going to be setting up a designated space for not only the live sessions, but also your study time. If you can designate a space that's quiet, that's free of any dogs running around, kids kind of going in and out of the back room screen, it's going to be nice for not just you, but everybody else involved within that class. Now, I will say though, class is very laid back. It is not stiff by any means. You don't have to be in a suit and tie while in class. This is actually sometimes what I'll normally wear in class, because at the end of the day, it's about what you're acquiring from the program. What are they teaching you? Now, that's not to say you still don't want to be respectful. You don't want to be eating on screen, things of that nature. But ultimately, the class is a very laid back nature, and you are having discussions, building your breadth of knowledge and pushing everybody to kind of learn from one another. So don't worry about that. It is not uptight by any means. Now, my last tip for you is something that I and a few of my peers have experienced, and that's imposter syndrome. And it is almost inevitable that you might experience this to some extent while going through the program, especially your first semester. You're getting into the program, you're not sure what level of work is going to be required and how difficult they are going to be on the grading. And so you start to get this sensation of, man, should I really be here? I can tell you, yes, 100% you're meant to be there. The faculty does a really in-depth, thorough analysis of your application, and they are picking you because they see something in you that they know is going to make you successful. Now, whether you choose to put in the work to make sure that that transpires, that's going to be up to you. But I can tell you this, you are meant to be in the program. And if you need a little bit more help on how to kind of get over those first impressions of imposter syndrome, I will link a card right here. And these are the tips that I've used because I have definitely experienced imposter syndrome. It is tough. It causes a little bit of anxiety, stress. But at the end of the day, once you finally realize, like, you know what, I am meant to be here and I am going to be successful, then a lot of that stress just kind of alleviates itself. So stay organized, stay positive, and you're gonna do well. I will be making, again, a future video on semester 2, so that will be coming out very soon. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you wanna be notified about future videos, so that way you can get an update on how my semesters are going, go ahead and hit the notification bell down in the corner. Not only that, I would love a like and a subscribe. It greatly helps the channel out, so that way I can reach more people just like you and hopefully benefit you in the future. Now, whether you're a graduate student in Baylor's program or a graduate somewhere else, I'm going to be making additional videos on things like Grammarly, how to use references in Zotero, and any other workflow type things to help make you more productive and successful in your program. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.